Hi everyone, it's Marcie Besker here on Sunday live on YouTube. And today we have another fun project, and yes, I decided to choose a Christmas project again. I can't help it. I wasn't going to, but I really love them. Checking my sound as usual. See if I can make sure my sound's working. How is everybody today? All right, sound's working, everything is good. So I had a different project planned, and then I decided I love Christmas. I love all of our Christmas stuff in our catalog, and we have 2 weeks before that goes live, so why not do more Christmas, right? Everybody loves Christmas. So I was like, literally the last half hour trying to figure out what I wanted to do. So today I'm going to show you, we're going to work on the Sweetest Time and border set. So we're going to be using this stamp set here and with the borders, and we're also going to use our new envelope dies. So this is the first time I've used them. And so this is the card we're going to create. And there's a couple tips and tricks on this one. I did a little border inside. And then I did the matching envelope to match our border. So it has some green and some red. And this pack of paper I'll share with you has so many different varieties to it. It's awesome. And then I did a little stamping in the front. And I'm going to show you how you can make multiple stamped images really quickly. So let's get started because we have a lot to do. Please say hi if you're here. If you're new especially, please say hi. I'd love to say hi to you. I really like doing live videos so I can chat. Excuse me, I had to get a drink of water. So I like to chat and say hi and see what's going on, and I continue being busy while I'm chatting. So I will be doing that. And let me just get a couple things ready here, and we are ready to go. So like I said, there are some tips and tricks to this. So what I have so far is I'm going to pull out my little measure here so I can give you the measurements. All right, so of course you're going to have your card base, and I'm going to use Real Red as the color we're using. Hi, Jonna. I hope I'm saying that right. Jonah? I'm guessing Jonna. Or Johanna. I used to have a Johanna friend I knew. I mean, I still have her on Facebook. Okay, so I'm going to do Real Red. And then I'm going to do, you guys, I took the white. Let me see if I cut this down. I believe I did. The Whisper White, and I have to say, this embossing folder is called Tasteful Textile. Hi, Olivia. I'm glad you made it. I use this folder for so much. It just gives so much texture. I know when I bring it up close, it gets kind of wonky sometimes, but let's see. So it just gives texture. It just adds. I mean, instead of just a white sheet of paper, this just really adds so much more. So we're going to use that. And this number is 152718, just in case you want to know. 152718. It is my new favorite in the catalog. Okay. Then what I did is we're going to use this piece of green, and I just want to verify my sizes because, like I said, I started this card. I changed my mind last minute, decided to go Christmas. So I will save my other options. I have another card on Tuesday. Maybe it won't be Christmas. Maybe it will. All right. So we're going to go ahead and put this, and I'm noticing I did cut this one a little too short because I couldn't remember the measurements at the last minute. So let me grab another piece. I know it's 2.5, and I think the size is right, but I like it longer to start. So we're going to go 2.5, and then I'm going to leave the width. until I cut it. Just so I can kind of see where my lines are here. So what you want to do is look at which one is the cut one. Hi, Nola. Okay, that sounds great. I'm glad you made it. So you want to see which one cuts all the way around. You're going to notice this one does not cut all the way around. It does cut the branch, but it doesn't cut all the way around. So you're going to see this one. Oh wait, I'm wrong. Hold on one sec. That's the problem, is you got to make sure you see what you're doing here. I'm going to mark it, and I told myself this a bit ago. Mark it so you know which one it is, and I never got to that. Okay, so it's going to go this way. So I'm going to take a marker right now, and I'm going to say edge up here. This is the edge. So I'm using a Sharpie. That's the edge, okay? So for me, that's telling me that this is the edge part up here. So that's what I want. I want the edge, and I want it to go all the way up. And so it doesn't matter. I mean, it does kind of in a way, but if you line up your paper and just kind of get an idea, these are just kind of guidelines. It's going to cut out that way. And just kind of put them on a line so you know that this part down here, if you're going to be using this part, which we are, I want it to be straight. So now I'm going to go ahead and cut it. The next thing we're going to do is pull in the gold. So if you can see down here, I put gold behind it. I just really didn't, I tried some different green colors, but I really wanted the garden green to be my primary color for the green. And so when I put the other greens behind it, I just wasn't that excited about it. All right, so I decided to go gold. Plus, who doesn't like gold, right? Just shimmers it up. Okay, I'm going to leave my tape on here because I'm going to be using that again. All right, so now we're going to just carefully, and I did not do this ahead of time for the video because there's a lot to show you on this. And so I want to make sure that you guys kind of see this. And so for here, you just cut this little line right here. Is be careful, it is on with that last little branch. So I just go straight ahead and cut that, okay? So now you can pull this whole edge off. You're going to trim those edges anyway. Most likely you're going to be trimming over here more because you've got a lot of space and you've got a little over here. So just kind of go around and take the pieces off carefully. These pop out. There's a lot that pop out, and these that pop out, you guys, you can keep those. Use them for something else. I'm not for this time because I don't need any more stuff on my desk. So take your pokey tool and poke stuff out too if you need. Right now everything is going along just fine with my nails. And you want to be very careful, very delicate with your little branches and your little berries. So just poke everything out. And so I tend to just kind of go along with my fingers until I get to a point that either might not have cut perfectly or, you know, whatever you want to just be really careful of. See right here, like this is all connected. So just be careful. Just kind of, it's like all the negative parts that are, okay, I'm going to poke out. I mean, you can see how nicely it cuts. You just have to, it's just kind of a delicate one, so just kind of be careful. And of course, with a die like this, it's really nice to use the fine tip glue. Now don't look at the label on this one because I have had this glue for probably 7 years, maybe 8 years, and that's why it has the old label on it, and it still works perfectly fine. Because if you haven't used this glue and you want to make sure you're just unscrewing the white top, Okay, just the white top comes off. And you've got this little fine tip right here. And then you have the needle. It's kind of hard to tell. The needle right there goes right inside. So it stays clog free and it's ready to use the next time. And it is kind of, you know, you got to push it in there because I've got glue. I just used it. So just put it in there and then just push it down and screw the lid. And then you're good to go. Okay? It'll be perfect when you need it the next time. Just remember, it's just the white part that slips off when you use it, because sometimes mine come off together and I'm using it, and then when I go to put the lid back on, I'm like, what happened to my needle? Well, it's because I pulled the extra piece off. The needle's too short to fit there. All right, so that's all clean. Let me dump this. So we're going to set that aside. Now we're going to do the same thing with the gold. Now, if you look at this die, you're going to notice that all of this down here, we don't really want it to be cut out. What I want cut out is this up here because I don't want to fussy cut the gold to fit behind here, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to put it through the machine. Okay, so it fits up perfectly. So I want to go to the top of this with this. Cutting edge up. Boy, that is helpful. Make sure you mark your die, you guys. It's so much better. Okay, so I'm gonna put this here. I'm going to put my die. Make sure all your leaves fit, which they don't on here because I did the same thing as I did with the green. So let me cut that. I knew, I told my husband, I go, oh my gosh, I just changed my card at the last minute, but I really wanted to do this card and make a Christmas card. So this one is going to be longer, so I'm going to do this one like 2.5 also. There we go. All right. That works. All right. Okay, so I'm going to leave the width for now. I'm not going to worry about that. We'll fix it. All right, so here we go again. Put this up. Try and start out with the flat side on the bottom because you're going to line it up with this. That's going to be the bottom of your card. And just make sure your gold. And remember, you can always trim that. Once you line it up behind the green, then you know where you're at. So don't worry about it. So now, oh, let me show you. I'm going to put it through my machine this way. Okay, so it's going to go through this way. I'm only going to run my machine to about here. And then I'm going to carefully take it off because I want all the gold pieces to stay together. All I'm really worried about is cutting the top edge. Okay. The rest of the gold, I don't really care how short it is, but I do have to trim this gold a little bit because it's more than 6 inches. All right, so we're going to run it in. You can hear it start. I'm going to back it out and let's just see how far it cut. All right, so that's how far it cut. Now I'm going to go a little farther because there's these little branches that you're going to want to pull out. So I'll show you. You'll see when we put it together. These right here, you want all these to fall off. I mean, I still have some here and it's not earth shattering. I mean, so it's just gold. But I want it to look like a leaf without the gold behind it there. So I'm just going to go a little farther. Okay, so I'm going to be happy with whatever this is. Oh, no, I'm not. I'm going to go a little more because I didn't go. I'm trying to be really cautious. I don't want to go through too much. All right. So now we're going to pull this off carefully. And you got your tape there. And you want everything to stay if you can. All right. So there it is. I'm going to put this away because we are done with this now. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take our scissors and we're going to cut along the line here. And we're going to take the gold off. So at the very top, try not to take any of the other gold, just the top. And remember that it's going to stick in some spots, and that's okay. You just really want to take the top part. Careful, careful. All right. So now I have these little pieces on the end. I'm just going to trim out that were kind of stuck to the main piece, and I didn't want to rip it. And then there's a little piece over here. Okay, so now you've got these little pieces where your green, where your leaves are, and you could push them out if you went down that far. And if you didn't, it's really not that big of a deal. I'm just pushing out if I can. And if they don't, I'm not worried. Okay, so I'm not going to worry about the rest. Except this piece right here. So just kind of trim it a little bit. Just the little pieces that you want out. Some of them are barely hanging on there. All right, so I'm good with this. Okay, now you're going to bring your green in. And what we're going to be doing is just gluing directly over it as close as you can. So there's where that fine tip glue comes in. So I'm going to turn over the, you know what, I'm going to put my silicone mat under me. And the silicone mat works really well with glues and stuff. It doesn't stick to your paper or your projects or anything. Let me move my light in a little bit better here. Okay. So now just hold your green. Remember, it's so delicate. And some people like to put dots. I always start in a bigger spot because it will, you know, a little clump will come out. And I tend to just kind of roll it down. Not a lot, and I don't even squeeze it really. I just kind of, I mean, barely. You'll get the hang of it. And I just kind of go, especially where I want things to be laying down. I don't really mind the little branches, but I do want the tip and I do want the stem. That way it'll all kind of lay down for you. Because we're still going to be tucking things under, but I'll show you how to do that. How I do it with the green. So just kind of put it where you would normally put your other glue. That's on the edge. I go a little more on these. Each one. There's not a stem to work with. All right, now I'm a little more liberal around the outside because I need it to stay attached, right? And I'm not going all the way to the edge because I know I'm going to be cutting some of that. All right. So I'm good with that. Now you can grab the edge that you didn't put as much on. And this is the same you would do, you guys, for any of the color that you want to layer this on. And if gold sticks out, I am perfectly okay with that because that just looks like there's little gold twigs in there too, right? So now I'm just going to turn it over because there's no, except up here, it's easier to push down over here to make sure it's all glued nice, right? All right, this one has some white sticking out. I don't want that. I don't mind gold, but I don't want the white, so I have a little piece of white. It's probably the backing of the gold that's loosened up there when I cut it. There we go. All right, so now that's ready. And now I'm just going to use scissors and trim the sides. Trim that a little bit. And I kind of angle my scissors. That way you really get the, because the center of the gold is white paper, right? So if you just kind of angle a little bit, you're going to be cutting kind of like this a little, and you can get rid of that white on the side, because when you lay it down on your red paper, you're going to see that white. You don't want to see that. This one I'm going to keep trimming until I get the gold off. I'm trimming backwards. I'm trimming to my left. So I just want to keep, okay. And now the rest of this, I'm going to use my little guillotine one, because that way I can hold everything down and it doesn't, whenever you have die cuts, I don't really like to put them in the rotary type sliding die or trimmer, because I don't, and it's not, this is plenty of space, but I just don't want to slide this underneath that bar and all that. So that kind of, I just like to use the guillotine for that. All right, so we're going to move the mat out of the way for now. Now our next trick is we're going to add our red berries. So the red berries, what I did is I had an extra piece here of the double-sided adhesive that I laid on here, and I cut out my berries before. So now we're going to take that die, which I said we were done with, but I forgot we've got the berries to get. And I put it, it doesn't really matter. I just want to make sure I'm going to try and use the smallest scrap I can. So the berries are going to go all the way to the top of my paper, as long as I have adhesive on it. And we're going to, oh, see, I needed to move that little berry in. Okay, so they're all on there. So what I want to do, same thing as I did before, only go down a little ways. I don't want to waste all this down here that has adhesive on it. So I just want to get the berries. So I'm actually going to add some tape down here, just so it doesn't move on me. I'm going to run it through partially. And you can run it through all the way if you want. I just don't want to waste my paper. Okay, I'm going to do it one more time because it has the adhesive, and I just want to make sure that they cut really well. All right. Oh, nope, I need to be a little braver. I guess for class I should just run it all the way through so I'm not doing this 4 times, right? But if you can save what you can, why not? All right. So I went farther so I don't have to worry about it. Okay, so now I have all my berries. Now I can put this away. So now we're going to bring this back in. I'm going to take my pick tool, and now I'm going to put my berries on. So this goes just like this. So I'm just going to pick off a berry here. And this is a slow go, guys. I'm not kidding. I thought about doing this ahead of time, and then I was like, well, it is kind of nice to see how this works. But I'm noticing I'm missing a berry here. It did cut, but, oh, I think this is it. Look at that. They're so tiny, so you got to be careful. And I just take the tip of my pick tool to get rid of the backing for the adhesive. And it starts to go fairly easy if you can just pick them off just correctly. And it looks like the paper is cooperating with me. My other one was not so friendly. So just kind of make sure that you got your adhesive off. Like this one did not take the adhesive. Well, it partially did. Little stinker. Okay. All right, so we're just chugging along here, quick as I can. But this just comes out to make such a pretty card, and you can just do different candle colors. And I thought about doing gold, but because I had the white background, I didn't want to have it kind of wash out, so I decided to do the red. And I love red candles, so who doesn't love red candles? Who am I kidding? I like all candles. Doesn't matter what color. All right, so here we go. Just about done. And actually, if I would not have ran it through a second time, or so many times, the paper probably cuts, and the plastic on the back, the adhesive, probably doesn't cut as well, because it's kind of a waxy paper. And so it might be easier for this technique not to run it back through. Just make sure you do get your berries all cut, but then they are poking out pretty easy. When I did the first one, I actually poked out all the berries, and that was probably a bad idea because this was way faster. Okay, now I just cut this off because I have more and I can use that later. Save, right? All right, let me just clean this off. All right. So now we're going to put this onto the card base. And we know that it is way longer than 5 1/4. So we're going to bring the trimmer back in. I'm going to turn it over. And 5 1/4 is about there, but I don't want all of it. So this is where I get kind of a little out of time. Now they're about even, but this side doesn't look cut even. So I'm going to cut that one. And now I'm going to go to 5 1/4. And do just a tad more here. Make it straight because it is very close. Now you're going to turn it over because you want to try and go with this flat edge, right? So go to 5 1/4 and then just come up. You can feel it release when you come through the paper because you don't want to cut your little guy here. All right. I'm noticing a little piece of white right in here. I want to make sure I cut that. That's that little piece of backing. All right. Now what I'm going to do, okay, just again, let's make sure that this goes on here. Where are you guys from? Where's everybody from? I love to see where people are from. When my granddaughter was here, you guys noticed that she was here. And she absolutely had a blast. Now I'm going to cut this down just a tiny bit because this one edge was crooked, so I had to cut it. So we're just going to cut this a bit, which is fine. I did that on that one too because I wanted a little bit more red to show. And so when she saw where everybody was from, she thought it was just the coolest thing. So I like to hear where people are from. All right, now we're ready to glue that down. I'm going to move that and put this back in so it's a little easier to see anyway. All right, so now I'm going to use this glue, my liquid glue. And now, you know, I'm remembering I didn't use liquid glue last time, but now, Kansas, Carol, nice to have you. Nice for you to be back. All right, I'm just going to use the Stampin' Seal, which I love, but the reason why I'm using this on here is you can get just a little bit off for these little tips, like just a little bit, just to make them sticky. And I don't really mind if they're not, because we're going to be doing some other things behind them anyway. And technically, I probably should have already done my candles. Okay, so we're just going to lightly lay that and then set it aside because we're going to do our candles really fast. All right. So now we're going to pull out our stamp set. And we want, oh, see, look at, I made little candy canes. The candy canes are so easy, you guys. The little dies are so cute. All right, so oops, we are going to use the candles first. And I think I put them on here, yeah. All right, I'm going to use Versamark. Use whatever static paper you have, whatever you use. I have a scrap of red right here I'm going to use. And I'm going to try and do them to the top because I'm going to try and use the bottom for my sentiment. So just put your powder on here. And I know I have a new person here. You're going to use this, and what it does. Oh, Susan, very nice to have you. England. Someday I'm going there. That's a static. It takes off static, so when I do embossing, it doesn't flake all over and go everywhere else other than where you want it. So I'm going to get out my embossing powder. And I like to use coffee filters. So I just used this one. I usually open it up, have it ready to go. You can see I have little paper flakes in there. I don't know where, little trimmings. I'm not sure what project I used it on. Okay, I like to just really make sure I have the Versamark. The Versamark is like a sticky ink, and it's going to hold your embossing powder. Oh, I want to get my piercing mat because this is polymer. All right, so I'm going to go towards the top. And I just like to really make sure that it's on there good. And now take your embossing powder. Tap it and flick it off. You can see that there's none all the way around, just where I wanted it. And now I hold it on the end. I'm actually going to set this here for a second while my gun heats up a little bit. I have a heat tool, and it's going to melt my embossing powder. So usually I try to left-handedly put this away so it doesn't blow everywhere. The Netherlands. Henny, nice to have you. All right, and I like to do it from the bottom. Especially when I have little tiny lines like this, I just feel like there's, I don't know. Number one, it doesn't blow the powder all over. I wear contacts, and for some reason I just think that my eyes really bother me when I emboss sometimes. But if I do it like this, I don't have a problem. I think when you do it from the front, sometimes you blow off a little bit. That may not be holding on to your Versamark very well. Okay, now I'm not going to burn my hand, so I'm going to turn this. It's extremely hot. You can see it melting. Alright, and one more quick over. This corner needs a little. You can kind of tell when you look at it if it's not shiny and it's looking a little dull, then it's probably not embossed all the way. Alright, and you want to be careful because it will melt stuff. It's that hot. Okay, quick fussy cut. So you guys get to see me fussy cut. Woohoo! I'll do it fast. So what I like to do is I like to go over the top, and I just go, and then I go to the next top. And I'm not too worried about the sides yet because those are straight shots, right? Those are easy. I go down. Oh, this one's not close enough for me. On this type of thing, if it's a white edge, I don't mind so much leaving it an edge. But when it's embossed like this, I like to go a little closer if I can. And remember, that was a little too close, but that's okay. And then I cut off so it's easier. And then I just go around the edge. Kind of give it that curve. Whatever your image is, go with the image. If it's a leaf and it has little, you know, just give it some character when you're cutting. All right, so we're going to just quickly do that. I'm right-handed. I'm going up the right side, and then I'm going to turn this guy around and go up the right side. Okay, there's one candle. The two candles on the sides are the same size, so you don't have to worry about like when you're staggering them, one's short, one's medium, whatever. No, those two are the same. Okay, there's my other one, and one more. Okay. Well, I'm in California, and it is, I think, supposed to be 102 today. I try and stay inside on those days. Too hot. Can't go anywhere anyway, right? Might as well craft. I know I've mentioned this before in my video, but when this whole pandemic thing happened, my husband, he is a snowboarder, so his season got cut short. Couldn't go snowboarding anymore. And then, okay, so let me tell you this real quick. I'm going to put my candles just lightly. This one's in the middle. Just kind of where I want them. And I usually do this before I put this panel on, but I forgot. So we're just going to lay them on there. And then you want to get in here and do your flames. Now there's 3 flames in here, and to me they all look so close to the same. If you look on here, they look the same. But I think this one's a little longer, so I still do them all. So I'm just going to lay them all down, pick out the longer one for the middle, and then just go from there. So they really look so close to the same. So I think this one I think is a little longer, so I just put that one in the middle. And what I did is I used Mango Melody. It has a pretty golden color. And like I said, I would normally put those before I did these, but that's all right. I'm just get an idea of where I'm going to put these. All right, so we're just going to put that one. I don't even put them back on the right little, I just put them on because they're so close. And then just kind of hold it, but like I said, my stuff has glue on it. I don't want to push it down yet. So this is how you do it when you forget. All right. So yeah, my husband, hi Rio, nice to see you here again. My husband couldn't go snowboarding. Then he couldn't go fishing because we couldn't go to the lake when the weather actually got nicer. Of course, he would go in the winter. He doesn't care. And then he couldn't golf. No, not even the range. He couldn't do anything. And so I told him, well, you know, you could come craft with me. My hobby is available 24/7. Any weather, anytime. No power, no problem. I can craft by candlelight. He just laughed at me. He's like, yeah, I'm good. All right, so now we're going to put our candles on. So I was like, don't laugh at me. I can still do what I want to do. And then you just want to kind of pull it up. I have one stuck there. Pull it up to kind of underneath. You don't want your flame floating in the air, right? So just kind of pull it up. Oh, look, sorry, my head's in the way. Gosh, I do that all the time. I guess because I'm blind and I have to get close at times. All right. All right, I'm going to have to pull it closer to me so I can make sure I don't have a floating flame. I really appreciate everybody joining me today. Like I said, this candle was kind of a change last minute, but I really wanted to do it. All right, we're getting there. Now I have my red paper that I just had. Let me find it. Well, I think I threw that one away. All right, we'll find another one. It ended up not being big enough, so we're just going to cut another piece real quick. And this is for the backing for the sentiment. I always go to 4 1/4. So I'll put this one back on my shelf, the large one. I'll put this one in my drawer under the color, which is real red. And I will use this one over and over for my Christmas cards for little pieces. So right now what we're going to do is we're going to stamp our sentiment. And then I'll show you guys how to make that bow. I really like the all is calm, all is bright. One of the things to learn when you're using polymer, sometimes when you put them on a block, they may not be so straight or whatever. The best thing to do is just lay it down, because it will lay down in its correct form, and then take your block and then just get your stamp on there. So that's the easiest way. So I'm going to bring out my memento. And of course I want my pad again. I always put these little grid sheets on just because I don't want to stamp over, just in case. All right, that's not long enough, so I'm going to go down here. Let's see. Yeah, we'll go down here. I just like to go all over my pad, that way in case there's re-inker in some places, and I've been stamping nice and evenly. And now, okay, I'm going to pull it to me again. I try to go as close to the bottom so I don't have to trim that, and that's kind of my line and my guide, because it'll make it straight. So I just like to hold it for a second. And there is our sentiment. All right. Put this away so I don't get it all over. And now I'm just going to bring in my little trimmer. And that is perfect. And I just kind of eyeball close enough to the words. I kind of just make sure I have an even edge. As close as you can. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to adhere it to the red. It is real red. I'm using real red and garden green. Those are the colors I've got on this card. And I'll show you I'm going to show you that package of paper that I used for the inside and the envelope. All right, so now with the liquid, I like, because you have a little wiggle room. And you can kind of just put it where you want it. And I like the edge here, and I like the edge on the bottom. And so now I'm going to pull in this one because it gives me I can see this one a little better on where I want to cut it. There we go. And the same with this one. If this one is not close enough, I can always use the scissors. But there we go. So there's our sentiment. We still have to make our bow and do our envelope. And I want to show you the Stamparatus a little bit. You're welcome. All right, so we're going to pull this back in. And I don't always adhere the card to the base until the end, usually. All right, I don't need any more of that. I do want our dimensionals. All right. And now I can push this down because it has that adhesive on it, but I wanted to get my candles on there, and you could always lift them. It just has that tape that's not, because it's only embossing, it's not gonna, if you don't really burnish it on, you can lift it up. You don't have to have it on there. So I just lightly lay that on there just so I make sure that it's centered where I want it. And I'm good with that. And now we need to do a bow. So I'm going to do a triple bow for you. So it's the same as the other bows I've showed you. You're going to hold it right here and you're going to do 3. 1, so you're doing a figure 8, 2, and then 3. Okay, so that's 3. And then you're going to leave it long enough because now you need to go all the way over. And this ribbon, actually, you guys, is so good. All the trimmings ribbon, and you get it in the green too. This is olive, old olive, but both sides for making these ribbons, both sides are the same, so it's so nice. So you're going to go all the way over. You're going to tuck it back under, so you're crisscrossing it. If you look just at the top ribbon that you just went over, and now you go back through it, you're making this knot. Your one tail's over here, so you want this tail to go there also. Don't pull it down this way. Okay? So now you're just going to slide that off. And I just kind of like to fan it out however you want it. And then I'm going to take a glue dot. And at this point, I like to take my tool and I'm going to go right below the middle, but I want it above the berries because I want the berries to show. All right, I like that one this long, and I'm going to make that one kind of long too. Now we're going to pop this up, and then we're going to make the envelope. And I have to show you Stamparatus and what I did. If you're doing your Christmas cards and you're making bulk cards, the Stamparatus is absolutely the way to go. And I didn't show you on the card, but I will show you on the envelopes what I'm talking about. All right, so I like to put 2 here because I have a lot right here going on, and I just don't want it to sink in. So I'm going to try and line this up without being directly over it. So I'm going to start at the top. Okay, I'm feeling like I'm going to have to do it like this without sticking my head in your way. All right, there we go. So there's my card. It's really sparkly and shimmery. I was going to add some sequins, or some rhinestones or something, but I really don't think I need to. I really like how it looks like that. Okay, so let me show you the envelope, because we're going to use the new dies. Oh, Rio, if my head's right over it, I do okay, but when I'm on camera and I don't want to stick my head in there, it's bad enough I do it too often already, then it's not so bad. Okay, so on this stamp set, what we're going to use, well, you know what, let's do our stamping first. So we're going to use the berries and the leaves, and I'm going to show you on 2 envelopes. We're going to pull in the Stamparatus. So I put my berries on this side, and I put my leaves on this side, okay? And I've already lined it up. So what I did is I took my envelope. So make sure your envelope, which way you're doing it. I always like to put one of our grid sheets underneath. You're going to have to use this mat. I bought the deluxe one because you can wipe it off and it's nice and clean. But I always put that in there for polymer. But I still like to put this in instead of wiping this off. Sometimes I forget, and that's fine. But I just like to put this in here because I use these anyway so much. I always have them available. So I believe I was 2 lines in when I did it. Because we're going on the corner, I'm not going to put it all the way up here in the corner, okay? I am going to, and I'm going to grab a baby wipe because I think this might be my ink that I had earlier. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that your berries go on, and then you want to make sure that your leaves go on. So we're going to do our berries first. And so this is kind of like you would do on a card. Same thing. I'm going to ink up my berries, and I'm going to put them on. And see how that inks right there? You're stopping that from going on your paper with your magnets and also your image there. But when I open it up, I like to wipe it off because I just don't want it there to get my hand on it or anything like that. All right. Now I'm going to do the berries without, or the leaves without putting ink on them first, just to make sure they're where I want them, and they are. So now I'm going to move over. There's 2 things you can do. You can do all your berries first, or you can do as you go, and you can just do one at a time. So now I'm going to stamp this, and now my envelope is done. Okay, so there's my envelope. So now I'm going to grab another envelope. I'm going to go at line 2 again, just so you know where I'm at. And this isn't precise. Now, if I want to do something extremely precise, I do it in the corner so that it's butted up against, and it's not even an itty bitty centimeter off. Okay, so now we go back to the red, real red, do our berries, ba-boom, grab the green, do our leaves. Now, this is the best way to do this, but you could put more stamps over here. You could put a stamp over here, take this off, flip it around, and go again. So if, now I only have 2 leaves in this set, but if I wanted a candy cane, or if I wanted, you know, something else from another set, whatever, you could add more. Or if you want something over here, whatever. There's so much space on both sides that there's so much you can do. All right, so let me wipe this off. Now, even though you wipe it off, you don't want to close it back on your image because, number one, it's wet. Number two, the ink may not have come off exactly perfect yet because I'm doing it in a hurry. I'm going to leave my stamp. See what I mean? Oh, that was on the picture. The other thing I want to show you is your magnets go here. They get stored here. So your magnets are put away, and you can put your Stamparatus away, and I'll clean off those stamps in a little bit. Well, I guess I should grab them now because I'm gonna look for them. All right, so now we're gonna do our envelope die. We have a new set, and it's called the envelope dies. Okay, it does come in a bundle, but you do not have to buy it in the bundle. I can't show you the catalog to show you what it comes with, but let me glance real quick and I'll tell you. If I have the stamp set, which I don't think I bought that stamp set. I think I bought them all except that one. There's a few I didn't buy. You got to limit yourself somewhere, right? Oh, I can tell. The one that this comes with is there's some ornaments that hang. So yeah, there is a stamp set that it comes with, and I'm trying to find it for you. If you've already received your catalog, I know a lot of people haven't yet, but they should be coming anytime. If you need a catalog and you're in the US, hi Labrada, thank you for joining us. When did you use all your magnets to allow? Oh, you know what, Carol? I used washi tape. I just put some washi tape on them so I can grab them because there's no way I could do them flat. Okay, so in the catalog on page 40, you guys, page 40 is the set that goes with these dies. All right. So yeah, if you're in the US and you don't have a demonstrator and you need a catalog, let me know. The holiday catalogs do go live on the 4th. And right now through the end of August 3rd, for every purchase you put in, you get a $5 coupon back. And then you can use that in August. Starting August 4th, you need to use it in August. All right, so the paper that I used, this one has cherry cobbler and real red. This is a real red one that I pulled out. And then you've got some really cute holly on the other side. Because I don't know which one I'm going to use yet. We'll see. But this is called 'Tis the Season, and it's a 6x6. You're welcome. But look at this paper. I'll tell you, the colors are basic black, cherry cobbler, garden green, real red, shaded spruce, and whisper white. So I don't know if they repeat. It looks like they do. So this one I've had all out already. But anyway, we'll just go like this. All right, so there's one side. Just to kind of give you an idea. And we have some bells. There's a stamp set with some bells. So this is nice. It kind of matches a lot of stuff. There's so many I can't open them all up. Let's see. And so there's patterns. There's some prints. Okay, so there's that. Oh, that one looks like a duplicate. All right, and that one is, because I'm going to turn it over and you're going to see it right here. And then there's the other side. So make sure when you're doing this, you look at your project. Are you using cherry cobbler or real red? They're close, but one's a little brighter than the other one. So if you want it to match exactly. But there's a lot in here. There's 48 sheets. So, oh, and I think I used this one. That one might not have shown up because I used this one already. And this is the plaid on one side. Oops. And the print that I used on the other envelope before. And this one's really cute. All right, so that's the paper. I always put all my little pieces back in here that I use. Now, what I originally thought is I was going to use, the third one in is the A2. Okay, so if you do A2 size envelopes, which is 5.5 by 4 1/4, that's the one you want. So it's the third one. And I'm deciding, okay, tell me, do I use the holly? We're going to do it with this one because it's got both greens on it. Or do you want to use this one? Let me know which one. And then I will let you know how we're going to cut this. The red. All right, red it is. Good, that's what I was thinking. All right, so 5.5. So what I did is I measured my envelope just to make sure, and it's 5 1/4, or it's 5 3/4. So I did, I believe I did 5.5. Because you want a little room on each side and you want some space to put in there. Hi, honey. Okay, so I'm going to do 5.5, and I'm going to leave the length for right now. Because when I did it the first time, I decided I wasn't going to go all the way down the envelope. But then it stopped at a certain point and you can kind of see through, and I didn't like that. So what I did is I went ahead, 5.5 is your die is going to go edge to edge. All right, so I'm going to add some tape to hold it right there. And I'm going to run it through the die machine. All right. Okay, now I'm done with this. So you have like a topper decorative one, and then you have a smaller and a larger. I've not tried those yet, so I don't know what sizes they are. This is the first time I've tried it. But you also have, like, this is a cutout if you want to put behind the flap. So I think if you took it and you can put it on the flap, it would look really pretty, and add your border after. Let's do that. Let's do it for fun. Let's just try it. Why not? So because remember that the paper is double-sided. I'm going to do it like this so I can kind of see better. So we're going to just put it on there. I'm going to put it up high because of the seal. Because we want that seal to stick, right? Keep our beautiful work inside the card. All right, so we're going to put this through. Why not? Let's try it. All right. Remember, this is paper, not cardstock, so it comes out fairly easy. There's a few that are still in there. This little guy, okay, nope. All right, all out. Now I have tons of confetti. Okay, so now that's done. Well, that'll be fun to see. All right, so now there's another secret too to this, so let me show you. When you have this, what I do is I come through with my scissors and I just go to the edge. I just continue cutting. Anya, I'm glad to have you back. I'm glad you caught me live. And then just cut it. So I just kind of slide it down the side, just get that cut. Now you're going to notice when I put this in, we're doing red. When I put it in, it's just under, so I'm going to slide it up because of this. Okay, but if you just put it all the way down, if that was just the seal, you could just slightly pull it up. So this is 6 inches. I did not cut the long way. All right, so just cut it 5.5 and leave it the 6 inches for the A2 cards. Now I'm going to pull this one up a little bit because of the holes in it. And we pretty much went as to the highest top that we can. And you can't really tell that's holly underneath there, and I don't care. It's just going to add some fun decoration right there. Just adds another element, right? Now I used liquid glue because I can slide it in a little better. And it just gives me that little bit of wiggle room. I don't go too close to the edge, except what I did right here. I kind of boo-booed it up a little bit with too much glue. And then I just go up and then I do this lightly. You don't need a little bit. It's going to be in your envelope. It's not going to go anywhere. But it does stick fairly quickly, so you don't want to lollygag around. I'm going to put it in. I'm going to kind of curve it a little while I'm sliding it down. I'm going to get it right to the edge of that image. Notice that the edges are correct. Now here's one thing I just realized I did wrong. I put adhesive on it and I forgot I had all this out here. The good thing is all these little pieces are going to stick right now. So what I'm going to do is pull out my, where did my mat go? Let me see. Oh, well, I just had my mat and now I can't find it. Okay, well, normally you would have your, oh, here it is. It was under my foam mat. I'm going to lay this here and just kind of burnish it in. Make sure it's all on there good. Okay, and then you're going to still, I don't really feel a lot of sticky, but take your embossing buddy and then just kind of go over it and it'll be fine. It'll take that stickiness off. Okay, now there's no sticky. So that's what you want to do. Now the next thing what I did is I was afraid when I folded this, how was this going to come out? So what I did, I'm going to erase a little glue here that I've got on here. I think when I put my panel in, I went to the side a bit. There we go. So what I'm going to do is put this in here and align my crease there where you're going to fold, and I'm going to score it. All right, and I just lightly do it because it is not cardstock. Even though that paper on the top is designer paper, it's not thick like a cardstock. Okay, remember those are a little bit thinner. All right, so there we go. So there's our outside. I gotta glue again. And then there's our inside. There's our card. Oh, I didn't do, okay, this is an extra envelope, so I'll worry about that later. But what I need is my inside. So what I've done is when you trim off your paper for inside your envelope, remember I store mine at 4x6, or no, sorry, these are not stored. These came 6x6. So when I did that, I had this little piece here left over. So I'm going to just glue this on. I'm going to add a little glue at the bottom, not a lot. And I'm doing it on the paper versus on here because I need to cut it. So I'm just going to, now I'm squishing the glue so it holds the paper. Move it down. I like to just pick it up. Thank you. And just kind of make sure that it's up against the white. And then from the back, trim it. And you could stamp on here. You could add an image. Oh, look at what I did, you guys. I just trimmed that paper for a shorter card. Well, that's not the first time I've done that. So I'm going to get my paper back out. I've definitely done that before. So what paper did we have? The diamonds. I have so done that before. Here we go. This is the one we had. All right, well now since I'm cutting it, we'll just cut it. I kind of look at the edges like this is a complete image. This one's cut and this one's cut. So I'm going to go this way and I'm just going to go right in the middle and do that size there. Because you can make it as thin as you want or as little as you want. I always go over just a bit because if I did the panel on the inside a little shorter or a little longer, then I want to make sure that it goes edge to edge. And I forgot I need to cut another panel. I need to, do you guys ever take your paper to like a paper supply place and have them just cut a bunch of your Whisper white paper? That is the best idea. Is I've had them cut my paper a bunch of 4 by 5 1/4 and a bunch of 4.5 by 5 1/2 of Whisper white. But then I've also had them take my card base and cut it and score it for me. Usually just white. I usually just do the thick white when I do that. But all right, so now we're turning this way. Now I can glue on the back of here, and I'm going to do the red to match our liner. Add it on. And see, it's a little long, and that's okay. I'd rather it be a little long in case I cut my paper a little long, a little short. I don't jip myself, and I'm ready to go. All right, so this is the one we need. Oh, you don't? Do you have like a FedEx, Kinko's kind of place? I do the glue just lightly, you guys, across the middle. I just want to make sure my panel doesn't go anywhere. This glue is so good, though. I don't do a lot of big gloppy glue because then you'll see it, and it's not nice and smooth and looks clean. So, all right, guys, so here's our envelope. That was a lot of fun. Look at, I did get glue, so just be careful with your glue when you have it on the back of your panel. Don't put it there. And I could go back through and erase the glue, but I'm not too worried about it. It smudged before I knew it was there. So there's that one. And then here is this one with this inside. Different. I really like the envelope liners. You can do that with so many different cards. That might cost you a whole lot more. You guys, thank you so much. Again, I want to share with you that I really do appreciate you guys joining me. And if you could subscribe and like, I would really appreciate that. That really helps me and people seeing my product and what I do. And I do appreciate that. And then again, of course, on Tuesdays and Sundays. You're welcome, Rio. Tuesdays, I'm on at 2 o'clock Pacific time, and Sundays at noon at 12 o'clock Pacific time. Thank you, Carol. My blog is marciebessaker.com. And most projects that I create on here, you're welcome, Olivia. Most projects that I create on here do go on my blog. Not all of them, but most of them. My Facebook page is Marcie Bessaker Designs. YouTube, of course, is Marcie Bessaker. I am on Instagram also as Marcie Bessaker Designs. What did I say, YouTube? I meant Instagram. If you are looking for a demonstrator, I would love to have you. If you need a catalog and you're in the US, please let me know. I'll get one sent out to you. I am sending out holiday catalogs now. So if you don't have one or didn't receive yours, let me know. I know the ones that went out through the company have been sent, I thought, but I think they're still sending some. So some people have not received theirs yet. So hopefully you'll be getting them. If you don't get it by Wednesday, let me know. And if you are, like I said, in the US and need one and don't have a demonstrator, let me know. I'll get one to you. All right, everybody. Thank you. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend. I'll see you Tuesday at 2 o'clock. Bye.